All right, everybody, welcome in to tonight's live stream from here in the Wave Now studio. And as we always like to do, the preparation of what will be in store for us in the weekend and enjoying this lull, I would say. But maybe you could tell it still is pretty wet out there from our downtown SkyTrack camera. We'll take advantage of tomorrow, at least, for the pick of the week, according to the storm tracking team. An early spring with 80s to enjoy, something I think most of us can look forward to that. By the way, I'm Jose Susaya, joining you here in this Wave News Extra live stream. Just to make sure we roll the sleeves up there too in real time. But just taking this break from the the work we're doing in the Wave newsroom and all the different shows we do over the course of the morning, the the midday hour, and then even well into late at night, just to share some story updates with you. You probably all got a push alert of what hinted at being a pretty scary situation out at Norton Audubon Hospital. And there was a report that there was a lockdown at around 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon. But since then, we have learned that LMPD and Homeland Security agents did give the all clear. They went ahead and scanned through every place they could after they got the reported bomb threat. But they said, one, that there was no immediate danger that they could find, and two, that everyone being treated and the staff inside the hospital were all safe. What comes of the investigation after that to find who or how many people put in that call that was seemed to be a bogus threat. But we'll make sure to follow that up with you when we do get that information. And after we put in our request to LMPD and to Homeland Security, that will be something we'll share with you on all the different Wave News platforms. And we have over 80,000. And the other big story of the afternoon, yes, it is the national story, but certainly something perhaps that came in as a shocker, just sort of breaking. Perhaps not many other reports were coming in with the expectation or the anticipation it was coming out of Washington, that President Trump replacing now fired Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem with Oklahoma U.S. Senator Markwayne Mullin. Noem had been under intense scrutiny over her tenure in leadership, but online, the president thanked Noem for her service, saying she would be reassigned to what is the special envoy for a new Western Hemisphere security initiative that the White House is calling the Shield of the Americas. In Capitol Hill specifically, and recently, Noem had been the target of pretty sharp criticism, being one of the public faces of the administration's immigration strategy, enforcement, crackdown, especially when it comes to the reporting that came and was shown after the shooting deaths of 2 protesters in Minneapolis. Congressional leaders recently also criticizing Noem over the way her department has been spending dollars allocated by Congress for the decision to spend on these sort of other campaigns that she was in charge of as part of her directorship. In a post on Truth Social, perhaps this is what I was trying to pull up here. The official statement then coming from the president in his social media post, and in part here writing about Senator Markwayne Mullin, the quote, only Native American in the Senate, quote, a fantastic advocate for our incredible tribal communities. In that reporting that Mullin is also apparently going to step into his new role on March 31st. But that appointment then, of course, opens one seat for Oklahoma's Senate seat. What does that then entail? Who would be appointed to fill out the remainder of that term? And then all the other political and congressional ripple effects of that will be something that the reporting will continue to play out. We'll make sure to share that with you all. What I wanted to share was a story our Wave News reporter Fernando Garcia Franceschini has been working on, and it's his conversation with the widow of one of the 3 men on board the UPS flight 2976, who tragically died that day of the crash. It wasn't just the 3 men on board, but 12 more people on the ground from the fireball of the damage done. And so Fernando was talking to Donna Diamond, wanted to share part of that with his reporting about how she is remembering her husband, the agony her family has gone through since the crash, and what she decided she would do to sort of seek justice on his behalf.
121 days.
You've been counting them?
Yeah, I have them on my note deal. Every day I mark it off. I don't know why, but I just do.
Donna Diamond has now spent 121 days without her love, Captain Dana Diamond, who was serving as an international relief officer aboard UPS Flight 2976 when it crashed, right as it was taking off from Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport.
Dana was big in life. He lived up to his name, Dana Diamond. Flying was, his passion. That was maybe his first love until he met me.
The couple met on an online dating site after Donna lost her first husband, and the rest was history.
He was my first date on eHarmony and my only date, and we were inseparable since then.
Aside from spending time with his wife, Donna says Captain Diamond loved being a pawpaw to his grandchildren and working as a UPS pilot, a job he had been doing for 37 years, where he was close to retirement.
Just a total pro. It's always about safety, professionalism.
Donna says she spoke to Dana just before he was scheduled to take off for Hawaii on that fateful day in November, and remembers the moment she saw the first reports of the crash online.
I saw that it said, crash, SDF to Honolulu. And I said, oh God, that's him, and I just hit the floor. I just lay there kicking and just screaming. I mean, this has just been so big, the NTSB reports, waiting and wondering, what's happened. And waiting, I just got a death certificate like this Monday.
Donna has since filed a lawsuit, hoping to get answers and prevent this from ever happening again, all while understanding some questions will forever go unanswered.
That probably bothers me the most, wondering what he was thinking, not having the controls.
And so Fernando's reporting, much more of their discussion is something you can always check back in with. Of course, our extensive days and weeks of the fallout from what happened all live on wave3.com. Donna Diamond's lawsuit has some parties that she does name as wanting to hold responsible. They are Boeing, General Electric, VT, San Antonio Aerospace. Those are going to be the defendants on her filing. Her attorneys are arguing that they believe the crash was not an accident, more so a failure of those who were in charge, that they should have A, built a better plane, and then B, maintained it so that it would not have ended up in that position on that day in November. We're going to take a break as I reset here on the desk to share some more stories with you. We'll play some quick commercials for the folks joining us on the Wave Now platforms, whether that's on your Apple, Fire, Roku TVs. For the streaming crowd, just as an opportunity just to have some more videos pulled up here and sharing with you. So we'll take that brief pause and be right back after this. Welcome back into the Wave News Extra live stream. A reminder, you can always connect with us on the myriad social media platforms that we are working on, whether that's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, and everything in between. We're trying to incorporate on that as well. Also, great opportunities for us to then break down some of the hard work investigating that our troubleshooters are doing. In this update, wanted to share with you all is a case that drew a lot of controversy just based on the reporting that was done after the fact. The context here is a man who's been accused of a kidnapping and armed robbery in St. Matthews. And what we've last learned from the troubleshooters is he's been found currently incompetent to stand trial. But again, our troubleshooters looking into the matter are Alina Noakes telling us the key word is currently, and we'll explain why. Because a doctor believes Armin Langford's competency could be restored through treatment, and that is what doctors and the court say they want to try to do over the next 2 months. So the case prosecutors have built up is that Armin Langford is accused of a violent kidnapping. It involved a woman and her kids in St. Matthews last August, where he allegedly forced her to drive him to a nearby bank, rob the bank, but then the manhunt started and he was caught. Now, after his arrest, the Wave troubleshooters broke the news. Langford was actually out on shock probation from a conviction on multiple armed robberies not that long ago in 2021. Both the most recent evaluation and the treatment would apply to what happens not just in this new case, but also for allegations in the prior case as well.
Mr. Langford is not currently competent to stand trial, but will further adopt the evaluator's belief that there is a substantial probability of restoring Mr. Langford to a point of legal competency in the foreseeable future, and the time allowable by law up to 360 days.
So almost a full year there, you hear, up to 360 days. Now, Langford had previously been diagnosed, the court records say so, with a, quote, severe mental illness and a suspected traumatic brain injury during consideration of a shock probation by Judge Jessica Green back then. Langford was considered high risk back then as well. He was supposed to be in an intense outpatient treatment program, taking medication, staying sober under a, quote, high level of supervision. So the next steps our troubleshooters reporting says is that he is going to have to go through 60 days of treatment, and another competency hearing would come up on May 28th. In this story update, it just involves the anticipation that eventually the day will come, Louisville drivers are going to have to understand their regular commute is just not going to be an option once Interstate 65 is shut down for 2 whole months. This is part of what we've been reporting on is called the Central Corridor Project. I-65 has to be shut down in both directions between downtown and the Waterson Expressway for June and July. Drivers can't take a detour on the Waterson and I-64. But now, with under 90 days to go until the project starts, there are some city leaders wanting to make sure drivers understand the stakes and what this is going to look like. When the interstate's closed, crews are going to be replacing 6 aging interstate bridges. Those date back to the 1960s. But some families and people who work, live, play in Old Louisville are worried that this impact means all the detours and closures are going to strain their neighborhood surface streets. Metro leaders also brought up how, it will not be solely local drivers who will have to pivot and try to look for a new route. In one of those statements from Metro Councilwoman Jennifer Chappell saying it's a local level impact, a national level impact, because this is a major corridor, people wanting to get around for their day-to-day drives, but then nationally, how people would want to rather take another route instead of having to deal with this I-65 closure. Council members, even today, members of the Democratic caucus saying that they learned University of Louisville is expecting some employees are going to work remotely while the interstate is closed. With an update from Southern Indiana, this is the case where sheriff's deputies found 2 men dead, another now in custody after what happened, they say, was a shooting in rural Floyd County just before 6 in the morning in Greenville. So our Wave News reporter Logan Perone went out there to see police combing through the crime scene and talking to neighbors.
A man is in custody after a shooting on the outskirts of Floyd County. We know it happened in the early morning Thursday, and when the Floyd County Sheriff's Office responded to this home, they found 2 people dead inside. In Greenville, where
nothing goes on around here.
the worst.
I reported 2 gunshot victims, unsure location of injury, 6717 Georgetown Greenville Road. Request.
2 men were found dead in a home off Georgetown Greenville Road, identified as 53-year-old Bradley Butler and 55-year-old Kelly Good. Floyd County Sheriff's deputies arrested Easton Good, Kelly Good's son, and Butler's stepson. Good is 23 and graduated from Floyd Central High School in 2021. Several neighbors in the immediate area say they heard some hops before seeing police arrive. Investigators and evidence markers could be seen in the garage of the home. A few people told us Butler, the listed owner of the house, had only moved in a few years ago.
Well, I thought, my goodness, can't believe that. This area?
Edward Parker has lived just up the road for more than 4 decades. Much has changed in that time, names and faces mostly, but not the neighborhood.
You know, I mean, it's just, you come out here at night, you don't have to worry about nothing. You don't worry about anything. It's just a very quiet, peaceful neighborhood.
Good is booked in the Floyd County Jail, charged with 2 counts of murder. Reporting in Floyd County, Logan Perone, Wave News.
We're going to take a quick look again, real time for the traffic and any rain still coming through, but you can kind of see those clouds still portending some showers and those chances of that thanks to our SkyTrack network. Rest assured that the storm tracking team has been very meticulously following what looks like a record warm but stellar day tomorrow. Our chances for the ingredients for the storms and showers to start our Saturday, what the potential is if we are going through the rest of the day, Sunday, kind of balancing some things out, eventually getting back to what would be considered normal temperature averages for this time of year. And maybe something we can activate the bug here to tell you what the current temperature is. Hey, much milder, a little more manageable at 61 degrees. All right, folks, we're going to take a break to reset for the last batch of stories, something to share with you from elsewhere in Kentucky, around Wave Country, and looking ahead to the stories we've got on tap working for you tonight on the newscast at 11. We'll be right back after this. Thanks for sticking with us for this Wave News Extra live stream. When we did get word of this pretty crazy car crashing into that Kiwami Ramen in the Highlands, and you probably got pictures and the alerts of that happening too, we are learning a little bit more about what the plan is to maybe bring it back. Of course, the initial reports saying that this was a person, police say, was drunk driving and crashed into the building. At least in this case, this Kiwami Ramen is likely going to be closed for a month so that the property owners, whoever they hire for contractors, can make the repairs they need. There is also a fundraiser that's going to go on at Louisville Streetery on Saturday and Sunday at 4 for both days for anybody who would like to pitch in, donate, support to see, how fast that they could rebuild and reopen for customers. As far as, criminal implications involved, 29-year-old Alexis Calvillo charged for the crash with DUI, wanted endangerment, and resisting arrest. We're going to bring you back here into the Now studio. Because legislative session is still going on, so much more to consider. One thing lawmakers in Kentucky have been discussing over the course of the last hours or days has been a resolution about a popular reading program. It was a Senate resolution calling for ways to increase the Dolly Parton Imagination Library reading program, something that has existed for some time. Others in the chambers are arguing they'd like the state funding to be at least cut or removed, or at least be considered. This is partner reporter Phil Pendleton with this update.
The library program provides books for kids ages birth until 5 years old, but there was an amendment filed to the Senate resolution that would basically remove the state funding for the program. That amendment was filed by Senator Michael Nemus to a resolution that would direct the Department for Libraries and Archives and the Cabinet for Health and Family Services to increase enrollment for the program, at least in areas where the enrollment is lower than the state average. That could be done as part of the birth certificate completion process. Governor Beshear praised the program today during the Team Kentucky program, as well as efforts to increase its reach.
What Senator Armstrong wants to do is to try to find ways to make sure our foster kids and others are included in that, maybe requiring a little extra work because who their caregiver is may change.
That's Phil Pendleton with that update. In Kentucky, leaders supporting that mentioned how there are 21 other U.S. states who've opted into this kind of funding support for the program. No word, at least from our updates that I have at my desk, on when a vote would be called. Senator Nemus had not responded to a request for Phil's comment in his reporting. So something to keep an eye on, again, as the legislative session will continue. I want to let you all know that, we are here working in the Wave Newsroom because there's more stories in case breaking news happens or reporting we got to take care of, but want to present to you on Wave News at 11. And so let's talk about what you can expect to see coming up a little later tonight. In this update from our Julie Richardson, we're looking more into Louisville Metro Police Foundation's launch of what they're calling a repeat offender initiative. It's basically a program they partner with what is the Safe Louisville Plan, the violence reduction strategy the city and leaders want to bolster. But they want to look at rehabilitation and prevention. They want intervention and accountability, and then better support of enforcement and public safety. Some data has looked at, or at least data brought in for the Violent Repeat Offender Commission. Their work says that in 2025, around 580 repeat offenders were responsible for more than 700 felony cases that they looked at in our community, comprised of about 1,800 charges. So this is the work our Julie Richardson is doing, talking to Metro Police Foundation's Director of Crime Reduction about the impact this would have to make the city a little safer.
The criminal justice system is very complicated. Every case is very nuanced, and part of this is looking at the overarching data to see what are some of these trends, and is there anything we can do to better it? Do we need software? Do we need legislation? Do we need manpower? Do we need new programs? Do we need to take away programs?
And something else that is being worked on by the reporting team tonight, this is our Meredith Lee's work. It has to do with a case in Kentucky 6th Circuit Court, but it could have the power to overturn a Supreme Court standard, and we'll explain a little bit more of that coming up at 11. Essentially, right now, home brewers can make beer or wine for their own consumption, and that is legal. But any amount of spirit, then that would be the key word, that would be out of bounds. So that would include things like bourbon and vodka. There's a lawyer arguing that restriction and restricting other non-commercial endeavors is an overreach. His argument, at least to the court, is states, instead of the federal government, should be the ones exercising decisions about restrictions or regulations if you're producing a good like this at home. There was a meeting tonight at a country club here in the metro to further discuss the case, impacts on the bourbon industry. Meredith will dive into more of the nuances of what is involved and the arguments for and against. Again, that's coming up tonight on Wave News at 11. A reminder that we do update all of our reporting, all of our original investigations, breaking news. Sometimes, it's the exclusives that we're able to get because of our access and our connections with our reporting team. All updated, uploaded here for you on wave3.com. That's the stuff that also will get sent and pushed to your phones. We do have those alerts to share when you download the Wave News and the Wave Weather app. Excellent tools at your disposal just to know exactly what the information is as you're going about your busy day. Hopefully, for you all preparing for Friday, there is some time to enjoy the sunshine and the warmer temperatures. We'll try to do our best and take those windows to, enjoy some walking time and just touching a little bit of grass. All right. Hope you join us for tonight's newscast at 11, joined by myself, the reporting team, Chief Meteorologist Kevin Hartnett. I'm Jose Sosaya. We'll see you back here around the same time, 8:05, for another live stream of Wave News Extra. Until then, take care.